Hi, I'm Dr. Chris. I love that August celebrates National Smile Day. Smiling is powerful. It releases a flurry of feel-good hormones and decreases our stress and our anger. And when people see our smile, they are prompted to smile back because they have brain neurons called mirror neurons. So more people feel good. Recently, I sat down with a friend I hadn't seen in a long time. And when I sat down at the picnic table, I kind of felt like we were entering a crime scene episode on Netflix. You know, where they promise the witnesses that their identities will remain anonymous. She appeared as a silhouette because the hot summer sun was beating down on her like a spotlight, and her face and her voice were distorted from behind the mask. She was almost unrecognizable, and we had a really hard time getting comfortable with each other. I hear a lot of people say, "What's the big deal? Just put on your mask." Wearing a mask is a really big deal. Now, looping the elastic around our ears is a simple and effective practice, but it does come with some compromises that are worth acknowledging. Wearing a mask affects the way we relate to each other. And our relationships, good relationships, are the number one reason we live well and we live longer. So if we're going to continue to wear masks, we better get better at it. How do we relate to each other from behind the mask? First of all, I want you to think of your facial expressions as a kind of emotional radar. From early on, we learn how to read people's faces so we know what's going on with them. We can detect pain when we see a grimace, or sarcasm when we see a smirk. We can sense if an apology is sincere or not when we see people's faces, and what an expression of love really means. When we can't see as much of each other's faces, how do we preserve our emotional radar? Well, we need to practice saying it with our eyes and smiling with our eyes. Maybe nod in agreement or to show compassion, and face each other full on to show that you're paying attention and that you care. Second of all, it might be time to ask, "Can you hear me now?" Remember, we used to always ask that. When we can't hear each other, we stumble through conversations. And we have soft voices, noisy environments, unfamiliar dialects and accents, and sometimes just lazy speech. And so we stumble through these conversations. We pretend or we guess what's being said, or maybe you just tune out and isolate yourself altogether. I'm asking you to practice speaking up, speaking clearly, and speaking slowly. Third of all, say it with your eyes. Eye contact is one of the most powerful ways to communicate, and eye contact is at an all-time low in our society. Feeling scared, nervous, angry, uncomfortable, of which there's a lot of these days, tempts us to look down and to look away. And some really important conversations are being said via text. And even when we video chat, people don't look into the camera. They don't even know where their camera is on their phone or their computer. And so they're tempted to just look at their reflection. Look at each other. Look up. Practice smiling with your eyes and communicating that way. Fourth, I kind of think that we need to offset what I call the bad juju of wearing masks. Traditionally, masks have been associated with danger and vulnerability. And even though we know that wearing them right now is a good practice, our brain still signals danger and floods our body with these warning neurotransmitters. And so we get nervous and scared, uncomfortable. We can't really put our finger on it. And then again, we are tempted to look down and speak too quickly. So when you're with people right now, you have an opportunity to communicate that you are a friend, not foe. Smile with your eyes. Find your friendly tone of voice. Maybe develop your signature wave whenever you meet friend or stranger. And be kind whenever possible. It's always possible to be kind. These days, we need to protect more than our lungs. We need to protect our relationships, because being in relationship is the number one reason that we are created. So look past the masks that separate us and into each other's hearts and souls. Right now, we are worrying a lot about the future. And this is the one thing I know is certain. It's probably not going to be what we imagine. So every time you face a friend or a stranger, you have the opportunity to let them know that they matter and that they are not alone. Smile any way and every way you can right now. And maybe, just maybe, will come a little closer to healing the world.